Hi. Hello, everyone. Hi. Thanks so much for joining. My name is Larissa, and I lead our customer support and our success team here. And joining me today is my colleague, Lama. We're going to introduce ourselves in just a few minutes, just let everyone settle in. Very much looking forward to having you be part of Baselane or learn a little more about Baselane and our values. And yeah, we'll let you get started in just a few minutes. And again, thank you so much for joining us. How are you today, Llama?
All good, Larissa. How are you
Good.
doing?
I'm doing well. Excited. Happy to have everybody here and to talk about Baselane. There you go. Thanks so much. Yeah, I think we could probably go to the next slide and probably introduce ourselves and talk about, what the agenda is. So again, my name is Larissa. I lead our customer support and success team here at Baselane. Welcome to our live demo. Joining me today is Llama. I'll let you introduce yourselves and we'll talk about the agenda in just a minute.
Hello, everyone. Happy Friday and welcome to today's session. This is Lama. I'll be the moderator today on this demo. I'm a senior customer support associate at Baselane. I do definitely encourage you to ask as many questions as you'd like. You can just use the Q&A chat feature here on the Zoom link, and I'll definitely make sure to address them at the appropriate points. Please enjoy today's session and feel free to have all your questions ready. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Llama. And yes, so just letting you guys know a little bit about our agenda here. So we're going to kind of briefly discuss what is Baselane, an introduction, talk about our banking, our bookkeeping, and our rent collection and property management tools. We're essentially an all-in-one platform that focuses on those three core features. Throughout this session, you are more than welcome to ask questions. Llama will be moderating and answering. If there's any questions we feel like we want to announce and kind of discuss as a whole, she'll be more than happy to kind of let me know. And of course, we'll leave some time for Q&A. And we'll be doing a little bit of a live demo to do like a high level and show you a bit more about Baselane. So let's jump right in. Can you switch the slides? Thanks. So what is Baselane? Kind of that million-dollar question. So we're the first all-in-one banking and finance platform for investors of all sizes and strategies. So what we really want to do, or what we really were focused on, is realizing that real estate investors use various tools to, track their expenses, banking, collecting rent. And what Baselane wanted to do was essentially consolidate and have that in one platform. So what we focus on is offering free business checking accounts with integrated bookkeeping. So you're essentially doing the bookkeeping while you're banking, which I love. We have simple bookkeeping where you can connect your external bank accounts, credit cards, or use Baselane Banking to actually do the bookkeeping and see real live cash flow analytics. And of course, you can manage and track your rent collections on our platform as well. So you can invite your tenants. It's a super simple way to collect rent. They can pay on Baselane on the tenant portal. We have credit boosting. We also have tenant screening that we've just introduced. So essentially, we want to be that all-in-one where you can manage your property rentals, whatever investment strategy you focus on, short-term, mid-term, fix and flip, long-term, as well as, focus on seeing how your properties are doing as a whole or even individually with our cash flow and of course our banking with high yield savings. So that's a little bit about Baselane banking or Baselane as a whole. And we'll switch to the next slide. So as I kind of mentioned here, banking built for real estate investors. What I love about Baselane is our free business checking accounts. And what's great about that is instead of having various logins to log into Chase, to Bank of America, with Baselane, you can apply online. So at the comfort of your own home, you can open as many bank accounts as needed. So if you have a series LLC, if you have a couple of different LLCs with partners, you can have them all in one login versus having separate logins to see, the finances. Additionally, what sets us apart from larger banks is you're going to do the bookkeeping while you're transacting. So when you're sending a payment, when you're sending a transfer, we're always depositing a check. We're always going to ask you, what is this going for? What expense is this for? And what property is assigned to? Now, our bank accounts are different because we also allow for virtual checking accounts and savings accounts, and I'll show you in our demo. But you will also be able to create these sub accounts that can be assigned to a dedicated property hold security deposits. If you focus on profit first, this is a great way to separate your finances for specific expenses or for your properties and see the performances individually. Instead of having everything go into one bucket, you can now have dedicated bank accounts for each of those properties, and see and separate them essentially. And then, of course, we're always connected to Airbnb, VRBO, PayPal, Cash App. These are other platforms that are connectable with Baselane. And we can go to the next slide here. So our bookkeeping, I'm sure many of us, including myself, I'm a new real estate investor. I just purchased a property about 6 months ago. The bookkeeping can sometimes be overwhelming, and I'm sure as you grow your portfolio, it can be a lot. So you might be using QuickBooks, CPAs, bookkeepers, spreadsheets, no bookkeeping at all. Where Baselane kind of comes in is really simplifying it. We have simple bookkeeping where it's all based off Schedule E. So all of our categorization is based off the Schedule E form that we fill out for tax purposes, including subcategories. So you can be very specific. You can split transactions, receipt upload. We'll be adding automatic auto tagging for those reoccurring transfers or reoccurring transactions, I should say. We do have a lot of automation with Baselane banking and our bookkeeping, and I'll talk about that shortly. But with Baselane, just 1 minute there. One more, there you go. With our bookkeeping tool, you can also do this for your external accounts. So if you're still testing our platform, one thing I always like to say is connect your external accounts to Baselane, get those transactions imported, and utilize our free bookkeeping tool so you can see your cash flow analytics, see your performance, and also download the tax package. Taxes are just around the corner, so you can use Baselane to get a full Schedule E report, all of your transactions and receipts that have been uploaded and headed over to your CPA. Now we can switch over to our rent collection. And this, again, very simple here. It's hassle-free. I assume some of us, as I've discussed with hundreds of different investors out there, you're collecting rent via Venmo, checks, manually, Zelle, other platforms. With Baselane, again, we're designed to be that all-in-one. You can have that rent collection be deposited into a Baselane bank account or even your external accounts. But what's nice here is when you're banking with Baselane, you're collecting rent with us, we're going to tag it as, revenue for you. We're going to assign it to the appropriate property. Your tenants have an ease of setting up their own accounts with Baselane, having all their invoices and payment histories, including credit boosting. So we now offer rent reporting, where we'll report on-time payments to the credit bureaus for your tenants if they wish to sign up for that program. We also have tenant screenings where landlords can actually screen tenants through their landlord account, and then eventually, if they move forward, invite them. And we really have a nice payment summary, which I'll show you within the platform. It kind of tells you, where does your rent stand? Is it completed, processing, or in transit? So those are kind of the high level of what our core features are. I think we should dive right in. So Lama, can you just please send us over to the demo account? Perfect. So as you get into Baselane, this is kind of your dashboard. As I mentioned, banking, rent collection, you can scroll down. You'll also see a bit of our partners. So we have insurance provider partners, we have lease creation. This one I love because we offer 3 free lease creations with e-signing. We are looking into just offering the e-sign portion, as I know many of you may have your own leases available. We also have loan or lenders and a few other things as well. So the first thing I always recommend when you join Baselane is go ahead and open a bank account. So opening a Baselane bank account, it's free. There's no monthly fees, no minimum balances, and you have the option to just go over to add account, open accounts for your sole prop, like in your name, or even as in your or in your business, like an LLC. I've mentioned series LLCs can happen too if you have separate EINs. You can have all of those accounts under one login, including separate accounts, if you have them with partners and such. What I like about this too is you do this at the comfort of your own home. You can apply. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes to apply. You might need to provide a couple of documentations, but we say that the application is approved within 24 to 48 hours, depending. And then once you exit out of here, if you could just go over to where it says accounts on the left side. So now Jessica Lane, she's our demo account here. You're going to see all of our entities. These are all individual bank accounts. They are separate accounts. I kind of created it as a series LLC. So what I like about this is, let's just go over to the long term as an example. So once you have a bank account with Baselane, it's been approved. What's great here is you're always going to have what we call a main account. In this case, we've called it an operating account because you can change it. Now, this account's going to have the physical debit card attached to it. And when you click on account details, you're going to see, the legal name of your bank account, the account number, and our banking partner. So Baselane is not a bank. We're a financial management platform that we partnered with ThreadBank. That is who we bank with or you're banking with. So ThreadBank has bank accounts opened on their end, but you're using Baselane to transact. So anything that you have related to your accounts, you need to move money, you're going to be on the Baselane platform. You're going to talk with us if you have specific questions. Now, Thread is there for banking compliance and, of course, FDIC insurance. They're insured up to $3 million. So this is kind of showing you, your account details. You can order checkbooks for your accounts. We can send checks out. We have free ACH, free wire transfers for a limited time. We'll talk about that in a minute. But another benefit here that I love is that you can actually tag your property to your bank account. So Llama here can just show you this one's connected to Mayfield, but I can choose any of the properties that I've added. And now I have a dedicated account saying everything that comes in and everything that comes out of Baselane is going to be assigned to Mayfield. No longer co-mingling, no longer having to realize what is this transaction for, which one is this? They now can be separated. And that's one of the pluses of our banking. Now, if you exit out of here, Llama, and you just scroll all the way to the right, where the accounts are, if you don't mind, just to the right here. Yeah, if you just scroll all the way. Yeah, perfect. You're going to be able to add as many virtual accounts. I've kind of mentioned this a few times. And as we scroll, what I like about Baselane here is when you click add virtual account, you actually have the option to either open additional checking accounts. So as I've mentioned here, I've kind of showed you that you can have dedicated accounts for your property. You can go ahead and open additional checking accounts where they're going to have separate account numbers and routing numbers. They're always going to be attached to your entity. So in this case, Apex Investors LLC, LT. But now I have a separate checking account that I could have dedicated to a property and nickname it. This is also good for security deposits. If you have to have a security deposit held in a separate account, you can choose our checking, or if you exit out of here, you can also choose our savings accounts. We do have tiered APY, so we're offering savings accounts as many as you need that can earn up to 3.46%. And that's based off of all of your bank accounts combined. So our tiered APY is at up to 50,000. The highest tier is up to 50,000, but that's based off of your checking and your savings, but the APY will be applied to what is in your savings. So I do recommend this if you need to hold security deposits. We do have the interest-bearing accounts for savings. I do suggest to check with your state what their requirements are. And of course, if you just want to have a savings to kind of hold some money for new deals and such, go ahead and just create them. So that's kind of the ease. These are true bank accounts. They have separate account numbers, routing numbers, and they're fully functional. And then that benefit is that you can have those dedicated accounts for the property. If you're using Profit First, we also have an example of that as well. So as you've created virtual accounts, you can also create virtual cards. If you click on the cards here, I'm a big fan of automation, right? We need to, and I apologize, we got kicked out, but we're going to come back right in. But I was just going to show you a little bit about the virtual cards. The virtual cards here are a benefit for you because if you have a real estate team, if you have reoccurring expenses like utilities, or if you're a short-term investor and you want to, you need to pay for cleaning, whatever it is specific, I would highly recommend creating virtual cards for the automation aspect, or even just having those control limits. So each of these accounts here have up to 10 virtual cards. You'll see in these examples, we've kind of created them for various items. I myself have a property manager. I'm an out-of-state investor. I've created a virtual card with a limit for them to use because I would much rather know how much we're spending each month versus getting an invoice each month saying, where did this amount come from? Now, virtual cards, very simple. You can just scroll down all the way to the bottom here, and we'll just create one as an example. So you're choosing which bank account is going to fund the virtual card. So let's just say we'll create Mayfield card with the 3652. So this card here, every time that card is being used, you're going to say it's going to come out of that specific account. And then afterwards, you can have like a nickname for it. So I could say that this is going to be for cleaning. So I'm going to create a cleaning and maintenance, a cleaning card. I'm going to add that to my Venmo. Maybe there's a cleaning portal. I get to pay for it, whatnot. Now I get to put a spending limit. I know that I shouldn't be paying more than $200 a month on cleaning. Let's just say as an example. So you can put 200 and you choose daily or monthly. And then we'll do monthly in this case. And now I can not only just tag it to a property, I can also tag it to an expense category. So if you just go over to the category for auto tagging, I just want to show everyone. So these are all these are all very basic categorizations, but when you click on cleaning and maintenance, the arrow, now you can be very specific. So I'm just going to say this is just going to be for C&M supplies because I think I should not pay more than $200 a month for these supplies, and it's going to be assigned to Mayfield. So every time I'm using this card, maybe I've attached it to Amazon, maybe I've attached it to my digital wallet like Apple Pay, Google Pay. When this card's created, it's already going to be assigned to the expense category for cleaning and maintenance and the property. So I don't have to do much on that either. So once you create the card and you click it, you'll have a 16-digit card number with a Visa logo that you can add to a digital wallet, Apple Pay, Google Pay. You can add to platforms like at Amazon, Walmart.com, Venmo, Cash App, things like that. These are just other various ways to do it. And so I do like that because that's a little another option, another opportunity for you to automate those reoccurring expenses. And then simply I'm going to highlight over here. If you scroll up a little bit more, Llama, if you can head over to the Move Money section, the $1 million question, how are you going to fund your account? If you click Add Funds here, you have the option of doing a bank transfer. In the beginning, I kind of mentioned you can connect your external accounts. This is the easiest way for you also to send money between Baselane and your external banks. So if you click on Connect an External Account, you're going to see that we have a relationship with Plaid. Plaid is our secured third-party provider. You can click on that here. Plaid works with thousands of banks. You can find your bank here, click Continue, choose that bank, and we'll stop right there. You can just stop right there. But essentially, all of those bank accounts will show, or all those banking institutions will show. You'll choose yours, and then you'll sign into online banking, essentially. And when you do that, what I like about that is not only are your transactions going to be imported for bookkeeping purposes, if you don't want them imported, we can definitely delete them. You can do so as well. And you can send money between Baselane and your external account as ACH. So if you just exit out of here, Mama, perfect. And just click yes, exit. And now we can just click exit. So now I have a couple of bank accounts connected. We'll show you on the external side where that is, but I can send money that way. I can also deposit checks into Baselane via mobile check deposit. I can connect to Venmo, PayPal, and you can send wires and ACHs outside of Baselane if you'd like through your external bank, but that's just another benefit as well. And then you might ask, how do you send money? As I mentioned here too, if you click on the Move Money option here, you will be able to click Send Money. This is a great feature because what we're going to do is we're going to save that recipient, and you can choose, reoccurring transfers, reoccurring payments. So I need to pay my plumber as an example. I've already added his details, but when I click Next, you'll see that I have 3 options. I can pay my plumber with standard ACH, so 3 business days. Those are free. We will be offering same-day ACH. We've heard from our users. We always appreciate their feedback. We want to have faster payments. We're going to offer same-day ACH. It will be with a small fee, up to 1%, $15 max. And we do have free wire transfers. We have no fees to receive wires. We have no fees to send wires out. In the future, we have been very transparent. We will charge $15 for any outbound wire. And then checks, if you don't want to have checkbooks or you just need to send one check at a time, various bills, whatever, you can actually have us send the check for you. It's a small $2 fee, but we'll mail and send that check. So in this case, let's just do standard ACH for this method. Click Save and Continue. Now in this option, what I like is a reoccurring payment. I have to pay $3,000 to my plumber, so we'll put $1,000 on the top. I can now set up reoccurring payments where I can say, you know what, I'm going to send this from one specific account here. I'm going to do it from my repairs account, Llama, if you don't mind. And now I'm going to say that my funds are going to come out of the bank account on the 15th of the month. So if you can change that to next month, please. just the arrow now. Perfect. Yep. So every month it's going to come out on the 14th. We'll just say the 14th and I'll explain. So it'll come out on the 14th of every month. Now, what I like about it is I can keep making this payment until I cancel. I can choose to end it on a specific date, or in this case, I'm going to click end after and select 3 payments. So I'm going to change the 12 to 3. So then when I scroll down and I click 3 upcoming payments, that arrow, it's going to show me, every time the money will come out. I'm going to click next. And then what's nice here is now I get to say what that expense category is and what that property is. So every time I'm moving money out of Baselane or moving money in through the platform, I'm always going to be asked, what is this category what is this money movement for? So I always think this is a plus. You are doing the bookkeeping while you are banking. Obviously, if you want to do reoccurring transfers between your Baselane account and your external account connected, you can do so. And we'll tag that as transfer between accounts since it's really not associated to any category. So essentially, I'm choosing, how I want to send my money, the recipient saved, what type of payment method it is, and then also choosing the expense categories. So I'm essentially automating all of that as well, and I don't have to really do much with that. Can you click X out of here as well? Perfect. So that's a little bit more about the banking. As we continue to evolve, we are looking at more in the bookkeeping side, and in the banking side, I should say, bill pay, where maybe we're going to look for a drop down of a vendor of your choice, and you can choose to pay that vendor. Right now, if you have their account number, routing number for wire or ACH, you can add those details. But I do know that some vendors, are on other larger banks profiles where you can do that. So that's something we're looking at. Automatic transfers as well. We can set up reoccurring transfers between any of your Baselane accounts, even Baselane accounts that are not tied here, that are in separate entities. You can send money instantly, but we do know that there is a suggestion where we can also, say that this month, this percentage will go into this bank. That is also something that we're looking into. Or, of course, we do not have any overdraft fees, but if you were insufficient in one account, you would want to, we're looking at overdraft protection where we can cover from another. So there's just some features that we're looking to add on, but that's just a little high level of our banking. Now, Lama, could you head over to the external tab if you don't mind? Thank you. How's everyone doing? We're doing good here. I see no questions, which is great. Maybe I'm saying too much, but feel free to ask any questions if you'd like. The reason I mentioned external accounts here, if you could click on the external accounts on the Baselane tab, thank you. So you want to connect your external accounts. Maybe you're not ready for Baselane banking, or maybe you are, but you want to fund your account or you want to utilize our bookkeeping tool. We're in January. You can start doing the bookkeeping now for 2025. I would recommend, even if you have some purchases in January, connect that external account. As I mentioned, this is where your external bank will live. Now, if you head over to the transactions tab after you've connected it, this is a transaction ledger for all of the bank accounts. So your external accounts, your Baselane accounts, this is where you could do the bookkeeping for all of them if you'd like. Now you can filter by date, you can filter by account. I would like to filter by account because specifically, if you scroll all the way down, if you don't mind, what I think here is you can click on the 2 checking accounts, the external ones. Now I can do the bookkeeping for my external bank. So I don't have to necessarily do it for Baselane banking. I can just say, today is the external bank one. I can go in, I can simply tag the transaction, tag it to the property, leave notes, and I can also go and click on that arrow to the right-hand side. And split the transaction if needed. I can attach receipts. So if you're purchasing any, purchasing equipment, you don't want to lose the receipts, you can simply go onto Baselane on your mobile phone, take a picture of that receipt, and then upload it, even if it's a pending transaction. But I think it's quite nice to actually split the transactions, add the receipts, because it will, help in the end. So other things to think about here in the transaction details, it's again, very simple. I want us to look at the expense categories. Those are based off of Schedule E. It's all of our transactions, you can kind of look at the different categorizations. You can be very specific. If we click out of here too, if you don't mind, Llama. The other thing that I think is great is you can also search transactions. We have a bulk edit feature. So if you type in the search bar here, Llama, Yorktown, we'll be able to say, like, we know you have reoccurring transactions and maybe you don't want to go in individually. You can now type in Yorktown, click on the date on the left-hand side where that box is, underneath showing 24 transactions, Llama, where it says date. Click on that box. Now click edit transactions. And you're telling Baselane these 24 transactions will be the same category, the same property, or one or the other. This is just a nice way to kind of help you not have to go individually each time, help you bulk edit in that sense. And then, of course, in the future, we will be adding automatic tagging for mortgages and things that we know are reoccurring. Right now, there's more automation in the banking side, but in the external account side, we want to also offer the auto tagging in both of those options here. And then lastly, as you're doing the bookkeeping, head over to the reporting and analytics. This is a really nice bird's eye view of how your properties are performing. So you'll see here, your net, your inflow, your outflow. It's already filtered to the last 6 months, but if you change that, you can change it to 2024. And now you can hit apply and you'll be able to actually see how everything was done in the year. Our reporting, we have some preset reports. So this is under net operating cash flow, which is similar to our P&L, or net operating income is the P&L. But if you click on Schedule E, you'll be able to actually see the Schedule E report. You can filter for all properties or individual properties if you'd like. So you have that option here as well. What I like here is not only can I filter, but I can also look into the breakdown by category. So if I click on the breakdown by category on the left-hand side here, I can actually just click on, you don't have to, yeah, perfect. Operating expenses. I can look in and say, oh, I had $9,000 of operating expenses. What did that look like? So this is quite a good year, actually. You could click on the operating expense box here, Llama, if you don't mind. And we're going to see, the various types of transactions that I've categorized. So if I scroll down a little further more, Llama, if you don't mind, I'm going to see what was other operating expenses? I don't know what that is. I can click on it. If you click on it, and then I can scroll down and I'll be able to actually double check my work. This has helped me a ton in the beginning where I've tagged things. I'm not sure what I'm tagging. I can always scroll down and kind of see what were some of the other things that I've tagged as well. Now I see that we also have a couple of QA questions that I'm going to kind of highlight here and just see if there's anything to answer. So there's a couple of questions I'll answer. So how does the system handle multiple owners on the same property? Does each owner have their own sign-in, or would the login need to be shared if one direct money from the account somewhere else? If one owner directs money from the account somewhere, is it clear from which owner moved that money? That's a great question. So I will actually show you on the upper right-hand side where it says Jessica Lane. We have collaborator access. It's our multi-user access. So if you click on workspace settings here, you can actually invite collaborators, additional owners, assistants, bookkeepers, whoever it is, to Baselane. You'll enter their email and you'll have the choice to give them standard or full access. Standard access is just giving them, the option to utilize the bookkeeping, the rent collection, but they wouldn't have access to anything with the banking, essentially. Full access will give them all of the options to bank as well as, do everything else. The one thing I would mention is they couldn't open additional accounts because that is for the owner of the person who created the Baselane account. That's kind of the only differentiate. But we do have collaborator access. We are adding to it. We have received feedback. I don't think I mentioned this, but we love feedback. We have a whole feature request board that we'll share shortly in the channel where you can look. But we do have collaborator access or multi-user access where you and your partners can be added. This is a free feature. In the future, we will add this access for $5 per month per collaborator. How easy it to close an account? I'm thinking specifically for security deposit accounts where the tenant leaves and I no longer need it. Is it something that I could simply rename to a new tenant? Actually, that's a great question. Head over to Baselane Banking, Llama, if you don't mind. Let's head over to the long-term rental one more time, if you don't mind here. And we can just quickly show a security deposit account. So there, perfect, where it has 256. Ideally, you want to close an account that has no money in it, but if you wanted to change it, if you wanted to close it, you have the option to close right here, or you can go up and actually change the account nickname, I should say, to whoever that's for. So that's a great question as well. You have the option to change the account name, or you can close it and open a new account if you'd like. And then I connected an external account, but I don't want it to track. I heard you mentioned we can remove the transactions. I don't need. How do I do that? Excellent questions. I love them. Thank you so much for asking. Head over to the external account tab, Llama, if you don't mind. And can you show them just quickly how you can remove transactions, but still keep the account live, so active? So perfect. We can just toggle off import transactions. And this is actually going to ask you specifically if you want to delete the transactions, but still keep the bank account active, right? So you can send money between the accounts. This is just going to delete anything that's been imported as well as anything that's, any future transactions. Perfect, Llama. Thank you so much. And then I have multiple properties, each with different partners. I just mentioned that specifically adding collaborator access. I will say as we advance collaborator access, we will have limitations where one property partner could maybe see this bank account, et cetera. Right now, if they have all access, they could see everything. So that is something that we are working on. This is just the first version. And then to confirm, payment utility companies would be subject to a $2 fee sent via electronic check. I'm not aware of utilities giving out a routing account number. I'd like to sign up, but I don't want to be subject to a $2 fee. So the $2 fee is for checks if you want us to send a check. You are more than welcome to take your Baselane bank account and routing number to your utility portals, and they can pull the payments. As I said, in the future, we will also add some type of bill pay feature where we can search the dropdown for that specific vendor, and then we can pay that in the future. Then you can pay that. That's not live now. That's something that we're looking into. If you want to avoid those fees, then I would recommend to add the account number and routing number to the vendor portal specifically. Do you have live people who help getting things set up? What is fee for your system? Baselane is a free platform event. We do have some a la carte features, which I've mentioned, and I'll go into, within the banking and a few in the rent collection if you're not using Baselane banking. But we are live. We are free. And I run our support and our success team. You will get a recording of this demo as well. So we will you will get a live recording. It'll also have my calendar. We can meet one-on-one if needed. I have these twice a month. You can always join them as well. And Llama here also is part of our support team. We have support Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern. And we also have phone support as well. And yes, you can always reach out to us. And then lastly, if a collaborator has full access, and the collaborator makes a withdrawal, does it show which collaborator made the withdrawal, or does it show a generic withdrawal? This is a great feature. I actually want us to notate this. Llama, if you can grab this question here. Right now, it's just going to show which entity took it. In the future, we are looking to see, to inform the user who has the bank account, which collaborator sent it. But right now, it is just showing as if the entity sent it out. It doesn't show which collaborator would have sent it specific. Perfect. So these are all the questions I have right now. I very much thank that. I love to take a little bit of a break, see how everyone's feeling, a temperature check. I think these are all really good. And kind of just wanted to answer those. Yes. Sorry. Yes.
We do have 2 questions on the chat. If you'd like to check them, please.
Oh, yes. I see. Okay. Sorry. There's also another chat. Is there a way to auto tag external credit cards when you can maintain points? Is there an auto tag specific items imported from external checking accounts? So right now, auto tagging is really going to be more designed for Baselane banking, as I kind of showed you with virtual cards or reoccurring transfers and payments. In Q1, we're also looking into adding auto tagging for those transactions that might be pulled out of Baselane or like from a received ACH. So the vendor's pulling it out, like a mortgage, let's say. Also looking into it with external accounts and seeing like those reoccurring transfers. We don't have an option with credit cards and maintaining like the points. I do know how to tag transactions for credit cards. Like if you made a credit card payment and then, you see the payment go out, we do have ways to do that, but we don't have an option to actually, track the credit card points just because it's not our specific bank in our banking our partner specific. Is there a way to auto tax specific items imported from external checking? I've mentioned that as well. There is a lot more with Baselane banking in the future. In Q1 specifically, we will be adding auto tagging with like AI to come in and kind of double, tag it accordingly. We always want you to have eyes on it, but that is something too. When a specific receipt to charge like a mortgage, once manual tab, can you set it for future auto tagging? Exactly. Like I said, the auto tagging is something for mortgage payments we want to be able to do reoccurring. I also know that there's maybe rule-based where you want to split for principal and interest and have us, set it up one time. That way in the future, every time that transaction comes in, that is also something we are looking into as well. Great feedback. I love it. We're taking notes on this too. I appreciate it, but I definitely know auto tagging is one that is 100% needed and very much coming from an external account standpoint, even with Baselane as well. So let's head over to our rent collection. Oh, actually, let's go back to analytics and reporting. I just wanted to kind of show you guys one thing here about the Schedule E. So let's go to 2024 and filter for Schedule E. So taxes are coming. We've just mentioned this. We've all, let's say, have done the bookkeeping, the simple bookkeeping of tagging, whether using Baselane banking or going in and tagging your external accounts. You can filter by all properties, individual. Now, what I like here is we have the cash flow chart. You can break down by category, but you can also go over to the cash flow statement. There's a tab here too, and you can download this CSV. So these reports are downloadable. We will be adding even more robust reporting. One in particular is a balance sheet. I know that is 100% coming as well, but this is really nice where you can download this statement. And then my favorite here is also the tax package. Many of our users use this. This is a one-stop shop where you can also download the Schedule E report, all the transactions that have been categorized, and any receipts that you attached. You'll download it, you'll get an email from us, you can send it to your CPA. They'll be very happy, but this is a great way also to, be prepared for tax season. We have this great tax package that's free for you to use if you're utilizing the simple bookkeeping as well. So something I just kind of wanted to highlight. And then lastly, here we have our rent collection on our left-hand side. This is where you're going to set up any rent collection for maybe long-term, midterm investors out there. It's a pretty seamless process. You're inviting your tenant to Baselane when you're setting up the rent collection. So when you click set up rent collection, you've added your properties. Let's say you have the option to actually just click on a specific property, and now you'll be able to set up the rent. This is also nice, like as a midterm investor, you have a property occupied maybe for 4 months, that person leaves, but you need to set up security deposit for another tenant. You can keep setting up rent collection for an occupied property. So we do allow that too, because we do know that some investors, have midterm rentals and they need to collect security deposit in advance or even long-term, and the rent collection currently isn't finished. You can still do that as well, which is great. Now you'll choose a unit if needed. You can click continue. And then this is where you're entering your rent collection details. So it's pretty simple. We can just do the start date in February, just to move forward here quickly. You could do the first if it's an active lease, so you can just join in. It could be new, existing, or current lease. You'll put the lease end date. We'll just do month to month to just keep us going here, Llama. Thank you so much. You'll put the rent amount as well, so we'll just say $1,000. You can add reoccurring fees. Reoccurring fees are going to be like parking fees, pet fee. This is where you'll add it, so it'll always be added to the invoice. We can click cancel in this case. And then we can add when the rent is due. Additionally, we know the late fee is huge. This month, we'll be adding reoccurring late fees. Right now, when we started Baselane, we just did a one-time late fee. So you would say the 6th day of the month, Llama, if you just put 6 and put $50. But we know, as we've spoken to so many investors out there, you guys have per day late fees. That should be happening in the next 2 weeks. We'll be launching per day. Very excited for that because, of course, there is manual ways to add per day late fees, but we want to automate it. We want to make it easy for you. So we will be launching per day. Right now, it's just a one time. Now, step 3, if you need to collect security deposit, One of the things I like is you can actually have it collected into a separate bank account. So again, no commingling. You can just say, I want it to put it into my security deposit account. That's where it'll be deposited into. Collect last month's rent up front, prorated X, Y, and Z. One-time fees, that's like a move-in fee, a key fee. Maybe it's the 15th of the month. You just need to pay something now. You can set up, maybe you missed rent for January 1st and it's January 3rd, but you want to collect January rent. You could create like a one-time invoice there. You could click cancel, click continue. Now this is kind of like a preview of the rent collection. This is just of the invoices that will be generated. This is just month to month. That's why it's little. We're going to go to step 5. Now we're going to click the bank account. As I mentioned, if you want to have everything go into Baselane, this is actually really nice because it's free. You're waiving a $2 fee that we charge per invoice for ACH if it's collected into a Baselane bank account. If you're not ready to use a Baselane bank account, that's okay as well. You can add your external bank accounts to Baselane, but keep in mind there is a $2 fee per ACH invoice that the landlord will choose who pays it. Is it the tenant or is the landlord taking on that fee? But with Baselane banking, it's free for tenants. If the landlord receives the rent into a Baselane bank account, we will waive the $2 fee. So let's just put one of those accounts, no problem here. Click continue. And now step 7 is you're inviting your tenant. So if you click new tenant here, you're putting their first name, their last name, their email, and their phone number. They're going to get an email invite from Baselane as well as a text message invite. They'll set up their account within 2 to 3 minutes. The account's going to have, their invoices current as well as future. They are going to have details about their rent collection, like the landlord details, the duration, the amount, if a security deposit's held, and of course, the payment history. And our newest feature, which makes me very happy, is we have the option for them to do credit boosting. So we will report on-time payments. They can choose to sign up for that. There is a small fee for it, but it's $5 per month for them, but they are reporting on-time payments. So just choose existing tenant if you don't mind. And then just choose like one of those. Yep. Oh, Leslie, nope, I love that. So now step 7 is just double checking your work, making sure everything is good. You're going to scroll down, Llama, here, and you'll be able to just confirm and invite tenant. You don't have to do it, but this is how you'll invite the tenant. You'll get an invitation link just like that. You'll copy it. You can text your tenant this. No worries, they will get an email as well as the text themselves, but this is just another way for you to do it. So let's go back to the rent collection. So once you have the active rent collection listed, all of them will be listed here for you. It'll show the property nickname, the tenant, the duration. You can go in, you can click on Julia McIntyre. You can click on that one, that's fine. And what I like about this is you're going to see a tenant onboarding progress. This is great because it's going to show the landlord where does the tenant stand with getting their invite sent, creating their account, adding their payment method. When you see all of those checked off, then you know your tenant set this all up. But it's also like a good view for you to say, like, there might be some issue. Maybe they need to reach out to Baselane. Maybe you need to reach out to them. There's this option as well. You as the landlord have access to view all invoices. So if you go back into there, if you don't mind, whichever, it doesn't matter. Yep, you can click to view all invoices. And now you can see every invoice needed. You can edit invoices that are current as well as future. You can edit invoices that are not completed or processing, but you can do, you can go into a future invoice, you can go into a current, you can click edit. As long as it's not processing or completed, you have the ability to add new invoice items, change invoice items, change fees, change the due date. You have flexibility to do that as well. If you exit out of the invoice details, you also can scroll up if you don't mind, add invoices. So this is really nice. If you pay utilities for the tenant, you have to bill them middle of the month. You can do this here. If there's a repair and you need to charge them in the middle of the month, anything unrelated to rent, you have the ability to do that as well. Some may ask us if we accept partial payments. Right now, our system does not. We are looking to have more flexibility with payments where tenants may be paying bi-weekly or bi-monthly, whatever that is. But in this case, you can also do one-time invoices to receive partial payments. It's a little bit of a workaround, but it is an option for you as well. And then lastly, if you ever need to push out rent or anything like that, you can scroll down to rent collection terms. You have the flexibility to do that as well. And then I'm just going to briefly, click edit terms there. and you can kind of change things as needed. You can increase the rent, you can add fees, you can change certain things, but that's an option for you as well. And then as we exit here, I'm also just going to briefly show you the payment summary. This is just a nice way, if you scroll up a little bit, to see where your rent stands each month. These boxes are going to change every month. They're going to show you what's upcoming, what has been processing, what's in processing in transit to your account, completed for the month, and of course overdue. So you never have to like go in individually. You'll always be able to see these inboxes. If you click overdue, Llama, if you don't mind, we can go into a tenant's rent collection or that invoice specifically. We can go into it and we're actually going to have to we'll see a payment timeline. So the payment timeline, it shows for every invoice. It shows you when you created the invoice, payments that are overdue, when did the tenant pay, and when is it expected to be into your account. So it does show you kind of like the day-to-day of what's going on with the rent. So we do want to give you visibility on that as well. That's kind of the rent collection side of things. We also added tenant screening. This is also something we can kind of highlight on the left-hand side. If you go over to the icons, you're going to see the tenant screening. This is something that's really great because you can actually set up screening for a property that might be vacant. You want to screen tenants. You can actually choose what type of reports. We offer like a standard report for $29.99, and we add like additional reports that you can have. I won't get into too much of this as we're just time sensitive, but it is an option for you as well. And then lastly, we can go over to scroll all the way down to the bottom. I think it'll show all partners on the left-hand side. Partners, all partners, yes. So obviously Baselane has trusted partners that we do want to share with you. So we have insurance with OB, simplest for lending, but I also want to highlight that we do have a really great lending program where you can actually do a quick quiz and we can put you in touch with various lenders that we work with. We're not just limited to simplest. Lateral is great for maintenance requests. We have this in the product as well, where you can put in a maintenance request. Doula and Northwest for LLC formation. TransUnion, this is actually going to be removed because we have our own tenant screening. But another thing that we have is that lease creation that I wanted to highlight as well, which is underneath. Oh, this is just Rocket Lawyer, but we do have lease creation. If you go back to the dashboard, Llama, that one I just like because we're offering 3 free leases with e-signing. So you can scroll down to fastest way to create and sign. And now you can actually include lease creation with that. We do have it for each state specific and it includes e-signing. In the future, we will have it for just the e-signing option. If you need more and you want to reach out, you're more than welcome. We might be able to also offer additional leases if needed. But yeah, that's kind of Baselane in a nutshell. As I told you, I run our success and our support team. I'm always available to kind of help out. Lama here, she's one of our senior agents at Baselane. Really happy that you were able to attend this with me, Lama. Thank you so much. And we do have some questions. I love a good question. So that's kind of Baselane here. I'm going to just quickly answer. You can easily edit rent amounts for any existing tenant. Yes, you can 100% easily edit rent amounts. If you want to just head over back to the rent collection, Lama, do you want to show them how to quickly edit rent amounts as well in the rent collection tab? So you can edit all of your rent invoices if you need to change it, or if you just need to change one invoice, just head over to this. Llama is just going to quickly show you how to change all of the invoices if needed. You can change that rent amount there. Exactly. Click Save Changes. Choose the date. Also, if you wanted, you could do that as well. Totally. Yeah. If you scroll down, you can actually tell us when those effective dates are. So we could say, let's do it for May 1st. It's going to change to $3,000. Now all of those invoices from May onward will be $3,000. It'll also show you that. If you're like, you know what, just 1 month, I want to change the rent amount, you could also go into the existing invoices and maybe just for February as an example, go into February's, and if you just want to change that amount, Llama will show you too. You could just click edit and change the rent amount as well. Perfect. Thank you. How does it work for renters with the 3.5% charge when they use their card? Oh, you're so smart. Thank you very much. Yeah. So as I mentioned, Baselane is free to use. There's no monthly fees that we charge. We do have some a la carte features. We do allow for tenants to pay debit or credit card. There is a 3.49% processing fee charged to the tenant, not to the landlord. We have to make some money sometimes, and we do get charged by the processing company that we work with to accept debits and credit cards. So we do charge a small fee. We are also being charged that fee. That's up to the tenant if they want to pay debit or credit. We do offer free ACH if the landlord's depositing into Baselane banking. If you're depositing into an external bank, the landlord can choose who takes on the $2 ACH fee. But for tenants who are paying debit and credit card, please remember there is a 3.49% processing fee. The tenant has visibility to this. The tenant will see the fee and the amount that it will be added if they choose to pay that. Great. How often does it send reminders for past due rents? And is there a way to see how many reminders have been sent? We do have we can actually send this if needed. We do send rent reminders throughout each month. We send it via text. We send it via email. We don't want to bombard the tenant, but we do send them out 7 days out once the rent collection has been created. So they do get notified. We're happy to send you a rent collection. It kind of shows you the way the rent collection reminders work. Right now, those are not visible, but that is something that, we're happy to take as feedback and see. We are building out or looking to build out a tenant communication for landlords and tenants to communicate within Baselane. So that's something else that we're looking into. What about rent paid directly by housing and not the tenant? So we're thinking maybe Section 8. That's a great question. So if the housing authorities or government is paying for the tenant's rent, you would give them your Baselane bank accounts. They would deposit that into your Baselane accounts, and you can tag them as rent. If the tenant is paying a portion of the rent and the housing authority is paying for the other amount, you could set up the rent collection for what they owe on the rent collection tool. And that will be automatically tagged for you. And then again, the rent being received by the housing authority would be deposited into the accounts, and you would have to tag that. In the future, when we do auto tagging, they'll be able to tag that as rent for you. Currently, how many employees are employed with Baselane? We have about 60 or so employees. We are growing. The cool thing about Baselane is we are, constantly evolving. We have a feature request board. I don't know, Llama, can you put the feature request board in the chat, the link? But we do love feedback. We want to hear it. We are growing. There are some jobs available on Baselane looking for product marketing managers and things like that. But we have about 50 to 60 plus employees, and of course, growing as well. I also want to verify the cost of Baselane. Of course, Baselane is free. We do not have monthly fees or no subscription based. Obviously, we do have some a la carte features that I've mentioned in the banking. Currently, right now, the only fees we're charging are $2 per check. And if you want us to mail out the check, or a checkbook costs $15. We have free ACH, free wire transfers until sometime in Q1. We'll add $15 for any outbound wire. And we will be adding same day ACH, which will be 1% of the transfer up to $15. Again, these are a la carte features. You choose if you want to take on that fee. Also, if you collect rent with Baselane into an external account, there is a $2 fee. You as the landlord can choose who takes on that fee, but those are the fees right now. You said regarding rent payment fees, is there no fee method of payment? Is there a no fee method? There is a no fee method of payment if the tenant pays ACH and you deposit them into a Baselane bank account. And then I think I have every other question answered. Is there one more I think I might have missed? Is there a way to track tenant COI's expiration dates? And I apologize. The COI expiration date, like the tenant's lease specific. I'm not exactly sure, but if you want to clarify, I'm more than happy to kind of look into that. But if you do want to check the tenant's expiration of their leases, we do send expiration emails to telling you that the lease that you have on Baselane will be soon to expire. And if you click expired, you will be able to see any of the rent collection that it has expired, and you would be able to push it out in the expired tab, Llama, if you just click that as well. But if you want to just remind me a little more about the COI, I can definitely help you in that regard. Any other question? The other questions are, do those fees, including outgoing payments, mortgage payments made from a non-Baselane banking account? So again, any fee that we have in banking, the only fees that we have right now are just checkbooks for $15 or $2 ACH, $2 check sent fees, meaning we're going to create the check and mail it for you. If a mortgage lender pulls money out of your bank account to pay your mortgage, we don't charge fees. We also don't charge fees for standard ACH. We are looking into same-day ACH that will have a fee. But again, you choose if you want to have a faster payment sent or if you would prefer to just have the standard, which is free. Faster payment would be up to 1%. And if these are going through a non-Baselane banking account, we will not charge because we are not, we're not charging anyway for anything that's being processed through Baselane at this time. But if it's processed outside of Baselane, I can't answer that, unfortunately. Thank you so much for the demo. Oh, you're so welcome. I look forward to it. And then, COI is in renter's insurance. Thank you so much for clarifying. We don't have an option to track the renter's insurance. We do have a renter partner that we work with called Sure. They are on the dashboard for tenants. They will be able to set that up, but we don't have that option yet. But that's great feedback. I appreciate that. Can a tenant bank with Baselane? Not at this time, but that is something also that we might be looking into. These are great feedbacks. Lama, did you put the feature request link also in the chat? If not, I can do that as well. I would love for you guys to maybe see our feature request board. You can upvote, you can view, you can also see our roadmap and see what we're working on. This has been so wonderful and so appreciate your time, energy, your questions. And I hope you guys have a great day. As a reminder, we will send the recording out. Lama sent in the chat Lama sent, and you sent in the chat anything. Did you send in the chat the feature request? If not,
No,
that's okay.
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
let me send
Yes,
it. I'll
please.
send it
Okay.
here. I have it right here. Hold on. So this is our feature request board. I'll also include it in the email, but you'll be able to see this as well. Okay, we'll do it right here so everyone can see the chat. Yeah, I also see someone else mentioned something about auto daily late fees. Yes, I'm very excited for that. The auto late fees are going to save us so much time. The credit card partners want to say I would add virtual cards. So our virtual cards are debit cards. They're not credit cards. I just want to mention that as well. We do offer up to 1% of 1%. What's the word that I was looking for, Llama? I've lost my train of thought here. We do offer like rewards, 1% cash back. That is what I'm looking for. So it's 1% cash back that you can use if you use virtual cards. But again, they are debit cards, something we're looking into with partnering for credit cards. But yes, thank you so much for your time. If you have any other questions, my name again is Larissa. Joining me here is Lama. Thank you. This has been so wonderful. You'll receive an email with our recording and our feature request board. Check it out. And of course, my calendar. Let's connect. Thank you again. Have a great day. Take care. Bye. Thank you. Bye.